Well, folks, here we are. And with me is a lady who passes 5 days a week, right? Promptly between 7 and 8. And she goes to work somewhere down there, lower Trinity. And I asked her to come by this morning so that we could talk about stress and how to deal with stress. That's the main focus of this morning's chat. So it's a wonderful morning. I can show you what the morning looks like here in Trinity. It's beautiful, lovely clear skies. Started off pretty rainy, so I didn't know whether our guest here would have come true. But first, can we have your name, please?
Vanessa Neverson.
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 Oh, you know there were some Neversons living in on Takariga there?
Yes, Pearly. Opposite the Anglican school.
The family?
No, they're not, but they always say they are.
Yeah, the Neverson. My sister lived on Becker Street at one time, and I remember she would say, go at Neverson Parlor there and buy something.
Yes, yeah.
So it was quite a thing, when I grew older,
Yeah.
to find out who these Neversons were.
We thought they were, but when we talked to them, they said, no, we're not related. But they always say this is family.
Yeah. Well, everybody in Trinidad should be family.
I think so.
And that would help the cosmopolitan flavor of our land.
Yes.
So this morning we want to talk a little bit about stress. I really don't know the job you do. So if you could give me a little idea, we could have a springboard from there.
Okay. I work for a company. It's a family business, right?
Right.
And they deal with servicing for companies, big companies, Nestle, for Vemco, and other brands. What I do for them, I provide the service of making hampers,
Okay.
which is hampers that are been given to all the groceries, right? What they do there, they either give it to people who shop there on a regular basis. Around Christmas time, you get a little thank you for shopping here, and for schools also, they will give out little hampers and stuff like that. I also work home at them, taking care of their home, right? And that is basically what I do.
So how long have you been working with these?
8 years.
8 years?
8 years.
Oh, very nice, man.
Yeah.
All right. You must be pretty popular with them.
They
Trustworthy.
They don't want me to leave.
Oh, that is nice. That is
Yeah.
nice. Well, you relieve a lot of their stress by
I
being
do.
a faithful employee. Yeah?
I do. Yeah.
Very nice. So in this question of stress, of course, you would have had your own personal experience with whatever stress.
Right.
I don't need to find out exactly what was the nature of your stress, but how do you think people can really, deal with stress on a daily living? We have mothers going out there, we have single mothers, single parents, we have people who travel to work by,
Yes.
taxis and what other stuff. There are people who have their own private vehicles. How do you think people cope with stress? Or how should people cope with stress?
Well, for me, stress is part of everyone's daily life. Whether you greet it in the morning from home, you greet it on the road getting to work, or as soon as you walk through the door, there could be stress just facing you. It could be every day. According to how you deal with stress, you could be a survivor, because stress is a killer, a slow killer at that too.
Yes.
So what I do for my stresses is, if I'm greeted with stress in the morning, what I do is, I don't battle with stress. It don't make sense. You will always lose. What I do is, I will say a little quiet prayer, ask the Lord to guide me how to deal, how to focus, and move on. And from there, I would get to the point of reaching to work, stress there again, and just dealing with it as best as I know how. So I may ignore stress because you can't deal with it, as I said. If you deal with it, pressure going up, skyrocket, so be it.
Yes, indeed.
So I've learned not to take on stress. It's been a tedious job trying to deal with that, but I've learned how to deal with stress. When I finish work, what I do is leave stress at the footstep of that building when I walk out the door. When I get transportation getting home, it might be stressful, but you know what? That's okay. I get home, and before I cross that threshold to get in the house, I leave the stress right there. Because when I get home, that is my sanctuary. I want to be comfortable, happy, and just enjoy the rest of the evening. And again, if stress is there, I simply would probably put on a nice sitcom. I love Friends. It makes me laugh. I will probably watch a cartoon on a weekend. Or I will pick up myself and go take in a movie. Or probably just get to a friend. We go to the beach. Or just take a drive around the city. Come back home. And that's it. And if I cannot reach anyone, I put on music. I love the 80s music. So I listen to the music, probably drink a glass of wine, sip on it, and just mellow for the day. There's nothing else that defeats stress than you enjoying yourself and stop dwelling on it. Like, you may be able to help that stress, but if you cannot do what makes you happy, that is what I do. I do what makes me happy.
That's right, doing what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
So what about your religious side of life? That helps too, of course.
That helps a lot because every morning before I do anything, speak to anyone, I get up every morning at 3 o'clock and say my prayers. 3 o'clock every morning. Saturday, Sunday, every day. I don't play with it because at a point in time mentally, stress was getting to me. I was married. I'm divorced now. And that was a real stressful relationship. Pretty stressful. Mentally, they were playing with your head. Well, my head, I should say. So I said, Lord, I can't deal with this anymore. I landed up in the hospital thinking was a heart attack I was getting. And I want to share this with people because they're going to learn from my experience. This is personal, but I'm sharing it with you. I end up in the hospital, was in and out. You know, people would be talking to me and I would be talking to them, but I was touching. The doctor thought I was having a stroke. They did a lot of tests, they run a lot of tests, but it was not a stroke. They said, ma'am, we don't know what's going on with you, They kept me there for 5 days. And I was not on any kind of medication. Other doctors were coming and visiting me to find out what was happening. They were doing the little tests and runs and whatever. And they said, ma'am, this is the first time somebody's here and we don't know what to give you because we don't know what's wrong. Everything, they did everything, run every test, everything. And my mom and my sisters and aunt came. And while they were talking to me, there was a woman next door. I was in the ward where it was a critical ward where everybody was dealing with their hearts. And this woman was there whole night. She kept crying out to the Lord. Lord help me. He couldn't sleep. The nurses ignored her. Until the morning time, her family came to her. Her son came. And she didn't know who he was. So I told him, I said, your mom kept calling names last night. She kept calling out for you guys. And I told him, I said, just tell her who you are. And when he said, Mom, it's me, your son, so, she stopped bawling. She stopped crying out to the Lord. She looked at him and she started crying. And he said, I'm here. And then he pointed to the window. Look, your grandchildren there. Look, your daughter there. Everybody cannot come in. And she got quiet. But then she started back again, making the noise. Then her husband came in. And he did the same thing, who you talking to? He held her hand. When she heard his voice, she stopped crying out. And she looked at him and she smiled. Now, all this time, my family is there and they talking to me, but I just glimpsing at her off and on, talking to them. And in the instant that man held her hand and she recognized that this is her husband, that woman's body just went flatline, like a balloon deflating into the mattress sinking. And I got worried. I said, this is the place where you're coming to die. So I got worried and I started to panic. With panicking, my mom and my aunt were still talking to me. They saw what was going on also. And they said, don't worry, we're praying for you. We're praying for you. You know you won't be here for long. And I was in and out also with all the what was happening. My aunt, my family being there. Like 5 minutes, I will know consciously what is going on, and then I will just black out. But I'm hearing what they're saying. I'm hearing everything, but I just can't respond. I cannot open my eyes. So I started to panic, and the doctor came and said, okay, leave her alone, let her get her rest. And while resting there, I felt like something gripping my chest like this, gripping me. And I said, Lord, don't tell me the man next door in this ward coming and interfering with me. That is what I thought, because it had male and female on the ward. So then a calmness came over me. And I said, Lord, if this is you, I accept your blessing. I'm receiving it. And with that, I just went straight into a deep kind of sleep. And in that sleep, I saw a golden hand. Not really golden, but like how the sun rises. And you're seeing all the veins and the fingers and the palm of the hand, and was squeezing my heart like this, pumping my heart. And I said, wow, what is this? I said, Lord, if this is you, receiving whatever you're giving me, your blessing. And I did like this to see behind. I saw the hand, but behind the hand, I saw white. I saw feathers, white feathers. And the person, I was like the best glorious sunrise I've ever seen in my entire life. I felt calm. I saw the eye, and then I just went straight into a sleep, and I said, thank you, Lord Jesus, for healing me. And that was it. When I got up, everybody was gone, the body was gone. Her son was picking up his mother's clothes, and he came to me and he said, you know what? This place, you need to get out here, from here. This place is not for you. You need to leave here. He said, thank you for helping me with my mom, because every time I come, she never recognized me. But because of you, she knew who I was, and I'm always grateful for that. And with that, the doctor came afterwards and said, I don't know what miracle is it, but I'm sending you home. He said, I'm going to keep you until this evening. That was about probably 12 o'clock. He said, but I'm sending you home. You're normal. You're back to normal. Your heart rate, your pressure's gone down. When I went in there, my pressure could have been 200 and something. It was really bad. So I said, Doc, so what was it? What could it have been? He said, I don't know. It's a miracle. You are a miracle. I cannot say. He said, I could show you all the readings, the results of all your tests. Everything is perfect. And all I said, thank you, Lord. And while I was there, I said, Lord, if you save me today, heal my body today, I'll stop doing everything wrong that I know is not pleasing to your heart. And I made that promise in 2018, and I never went back on it. 2018.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that precious experience. It was tough, I must say. You brought me to the brink of tears. Yes, yes, yes. So the old lady did die, yeah?
She died.
Okay, okay.
She died. It was frightening.
Yes, yes, yes. Poor thing, she was lonely and
Yes.
desperately lonely too, huh?
Yeah.
But anyway, it worked out pretty good. And the children at least had some form of recognition that would have eased them a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of unpleasant things happen in life. We can't evade all,
No.
but the experiences will help us to move on to a different level of thinking. So I want to thank you very much for sharing this.
You're welcome.
I really appreciated your sharing your experience. So what's planned for today?
Work, and more work. But do not let stress be the main focus in your life. Always take some time, meditate a little bit. Even when you may not get the time to do it on work, but take some time. If you're just going to pass some water, just stop and meditate and say, I need to heal me. I need to be able to defeat this. Calm yourself. Count from 10 to 1 if you have to. But always remember, stress is a killer, silent killer.
Yes, and chronic stress, they say that it leads to so much problems.
Yes.
Health-wise.
Yes.
Things start backfiring all in your system. The stomach goes churning.
Yeah.
Everything just seems unpleasant. And then people also recognize that sometimes you're not the best company to keep, because there's always something in your facial expression, in your attitude,
Yes.
that keeps them away from you.
Yes.
And then when you begin to perceive that, that's additional stress.
Exactly.
But what you really want to do is to really get people to understand, hey, listen, I've been through the rough patch, and you can also
You
get
could
through
do it too.
You
Yeah.
could do it too,
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't know that I could carry the subject any further. So what do you do for recreation? As you said, you could go to the beach.
I go to the beach.
You like Maracas Bay?
No, not Maracas at all. I love, I would go Toco. I love the East.
Toco, yes.
I had a bad experience going Maracas.
Tumbled on the beach?
I tumbled on the beach, but that was not it. Getting to Maracas, right? My ex-husband wanted to fly past a van. Rain was falling up there, and we kept telling him, what you're hustling is just a relaxing weekend. So we pick up some friends, and we were heading up. And he finds this van was moving too slow. So I said, relax, we can enjoy ourselves. So he overtook the van, pick up on a skid, had no brakes. A green Cortina, we used to call it the Green Hornet.
Yes.
And he skid going to the cliff. But what saved us was there was a big stone by the cliff, and his car was very low. So the car was literally sitting on this big slab of stone. But when I opened my door, there was no ground for me to step. Somebody had to pull me from the back door so I could get out of the car, or either. And I started to panic again. And I told him, I'm never coming back up here. If I see the cliffs in Maracas, I am like, too close, too close.
Yeah, experiences really bring things to light.
Yeah, it makes you remember, and you get this panic. But also, panic attack is it's something that the doctors are seeing in the hospital, and they're asking themselves, why are people suffering from panic attacks now? What could be causing it?
You think it's the daily stress of living, financial stress?
I think so.
Domestic problems?
I think so.
You think grandparents go through plenty stress more than parents themselves? You feel grandparents feel neglected?
I think they do. They do now. Because they don't make time. The children, the grandchildren don't make time to be with them. I grew up with my grandmother. I grew up with a woman who mined my mother. My mother is originally from Talparo. And my mother wanted her to get an education. So she took her from Talparo and brought her to Tacarigua. And she lived there with this woman who came from Dominica, right? And she couldn't have kids. So she took care of other people's kids. So I have uncles who are not really blood relatives, but That's my uncle.
Mm.
You know, so we grew up knowing grandparent respect. What you're doing is wrong. Stop peeping. Stop this. Stop that. Do what is right.
Mm.
You know, and they punish you. And I think I'm grateful for the punishment that I got because it taught me a lot. It taught me to be the woman who I am today. I will walk down the road and I look at this every day, and people who I pass over 8 years, I say good morning, and they would not answer at all. I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about adult people my age, probably a little older than me. And for nothing, they would say to you, good morning. The morning is not mine. Morning is not yours. I'm grateful to have a sunrise every day. To see that
These
sunrise
people
every
probably
day.
have their own level of stress that they
That's
can't
what I'm
deal with.
saying.
You know,
So
they can't deal with.
you never know what can happen.
You know.
But you know what? I greet people. I put a smile on people's
You
face.
see, you have to be you.
That's it.
You have to be you.
I make people smile.
You don't let people change you.
No, I don't. This is my spirit which was given to me, and I'm not letting anyone kill my spirit. They try to, but I said no. I'm not gonna let them.
You know, Lasana has a famous line that he uses: "Don't let anybody steal your joy."
Yes, yes.
Yes. Don't let anybody steal
That is
it.
very important.
Oh yes. Coming back to this question of grandparents, I see a lot of foreigners, especially, you know, the youngsters. The grandparents play a big role in their lives. You think West Indian grandparents have that privilege, really, on a broad spectrum?
I think they do.
Maybe in the countrysides.
Countryside. But now grandparents I say, no. As the old people say, take your picnic and go with it. I did my part. You have to do yours. But because of the job and it's stressful and if you cannot get away from your job, you have to have somebody to take care of your kids.
Yes.
Some people have 2 jobs. Some people have 3 jobs.
In Trinidad, yeah?
In Trinidad.
Okay.
They do. At a point in time, I had 3 jobs. You know, trying to build myself, making sure that, you know, you could be comfortable, not meaning party, hairstyle, no, not that. Comfortable in your home.
Mm-hmm.
You have the necessities that is needed to do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandmother took care of us. She did until she died.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love going to look for my grandmother. And you don't see that anymore. You don't. Only the people who grew up with grandparents would probably do it. But again, they say children making children. They don't know about that. They say, no, you go on. As they say, wherever you catch your cold, go and blow your nose.
Right.
Right? So,
Let me hear that saying again. Wherever you catch it.
wherever you catch your cold, go and blow your nose.
Wow. First time I hear that one.
Yeah, my grandmother used to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, so they don't know, they don't do it. Some grandparents don't do it. They're not making time because they also tell the children, do not let your children call me grandma. I'm still young.
Really?
Yeah, they do.
What?
I have a friend who will tell her grandchildren, call me auntie so and so. I said, but you're not an aunt, you're a grandmother. I said, I have no kids. I was not blessed and privileged to have kids. I had complications. That was part of my stress also. Right? I suffer with fibroids. Every time I got pregnant, I had 3 miscarriages because the fibroids would eat the fetus. At a point in time, I actually picked up one because I passed it and I took it to the doctor and she said, yeah, this is your fetus. Here. That was a killer for me. I couldn't handle it.
You did have some heavy stress.
Yeah, 3 miscarriages. The last one, I was about 3 months pregnant, and the same thing again, fetus. I had 2 major operations. They took out, the first time, 5 fibroids. One was big as a grapefruit. One was big as an orange. One was big as a Portugal, and the other two was eggs, the size of eggs.
You're the whole citrus farm.
That's it. The second time was three. Same thing, orange and Portugal, three. But I had to change my diet because the fibers was feeding on pork, the red meat. So I stopped eating meat for a while to heal my body. And when that happened, people just asked me, why you don't eat meat? And I said, I just believe that it's harmful for my body. So I stay away from meat. I will eat fish, not all the fishes. I will eat chicken breast only. That's it. And I don't eat it every day. I don't yearn for it every day. I eat what? Peas, rice, and vegetables. That's it. Fruits.
Very
And
nice.
you know, my sisters will ask me, why are you not putting on size? You're the smallest out of all of us. And my family is a big family. 7 girls, 1 boy.
7 girls.
1 boy, and the boy is the last. Yeah. You know? So it was quite a challenging kind of life for me. I had my regrets, but I've learned
To override.
to override it. Because when it's Mother's Day, that used to affect me a lot. Because you go in my family, you're seeing the kids greeting their mom. Now, they would say, everybody calls me Auntie V. Auntie V, you know your mother to us too. But it's not the same. You don't hear them, Mommy. But they come to me with their problems, eh? I advise them to the best of my ability. But it's still not the same.
So you see how many levels of stress
That's it.
surround people in the world. You know, we have a lot of healthy people walking around, but you don't know the dynamite
That they're carrying on their back.
they're carrying on the back, right?
That's
You
it.
really don't know.
That's it.
But I want to thank you very much for being very frank, you know, about your approach to stress, some of the things you shared about your stress, and we just hope that it will help, you know,
Others, yes.
help others. The whole point about it is to help others by being able to talk about it freely.
That's it.
Everybody's not going to come and say, well, listen, I want a little airplane now, because, you know, it seemed to be a part of the pattern of healing. It's not going to work that way. You know, I respect your maturity to be able to sit here and discuss things and, you know, not go too deep into things, but at least get the substance out of this
That's it.
conversation. So thank you very much for stopping by.
You're welcome.
Do have a good day and a good rest of the week.
I will, thanks.
Yes.
Same to you.
Yeah, man. Thanks again.
Okay.
Remember, shake your hand, man. Good girl.